So many people are wondering what happened here. They're not watching, frankly, this show. They're not reading the New York Times. They're not consuming media that way.
Over on the televised mental institution known as MSNBC, Willie Geist was on with a guy by the name of Jim Vandehei from Axios, and they were now even conceding that an awful lot of that discourse is happening on X, which is owned by that crazy billionaire they don't like very much.
You've always been sort of the leading edge of where media is going with Politico, now with Axios. You understand the environment so well. How do Democrats, and frankly, how does legacy media need to change the way it thinks about getting information? I mean, a lot of the voters who went out and voted for Donald Trump, that so many people are wondering what happened here, they're not watching, frankly, this show. They're not reading the New York Times. They're not consuming media that way. And the Trump campaign found those voters where they live. So how do Democrats need to change the way they communicate to voters, if you think that's part of the problem?
For sure. I mean, I think all of us have to come to grips with legacy media is just not as important as it thinks it is. It is to you, it is to me. That's a relatively small group of people who rely on us for their information. And you have to go into the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. And basically, the way people get information is shattered into 20, 30 different pieces. And so if you just look empirically at the numbers, Joe Rogan's more important than any of us. He just has a much bigger, hyper-connected audience that listens to his every word. So maybe listen to Joe Rogan and kind of understand, like, what is he talking about? What are the guests that he has on? What are the issues that they care about? Realize that the gravity of right-wing discourse is now taking place on X. It's not Fox. X is what matters.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, Willie, we don't pay attention to you anymore. We only watch you to mock you. Nobody gives a shit about the New York Times anymore, which is not worth the paper that it's printed on. The New York Times, which for decades has literally completely made up its bestseller list because they knew that too many people were reading conservative books and waking up, and they didn't want that to be on there.